Hi, this is Paul, part 3 of my independent rear suspension rebuild on the E Type. So a bit more progress today. I've had my brother around. He's helped me do some of the technical stuff, which is great. So I've got another day tomorrow because my wife is away. So I should be in here doing more cleaning. I've only got myself a steam cleaner today to help with getting some of the oily clag off. But let me just show you where I am now. So this is the old differential. This is a 354. I now know, having turned these, that this is actually a limited slip diff. So I'm glad I'm putting a new limited slip diff or power lock in there. But we've taken some measurements because we had some shims in here. This is the carrier. So this mounts it to the cage. But in order to make sure that the geometry of the wheels is correct, we have shims in here. So I've taken measurements from here, measurements from the discs. I've had the drive shafts on either side because we've got more shims there. So we've now taken a number of measurements. So when we rebuild, when we bring that one up and fit the new discs, I'll have them side by side. And then when I transfer this across to the new differential, I'll shim it to exactly the same measurements that I've got here. So hopefully that will give me a good starting point in terms of wheel geometry. So that's good. I've got the left-hand side wishbone here. So there's a shaft that runs through there, and there's a bearing either side. So I've got some new bearings for these. So I'm going to press these bearings out, and I'm going to replace the bearings. I'm going to finish cleaning that up because so far the cleanup exercise, I don't know if you can look at the state of my garage now. I'm going to have to do a huge cleanup exercise. I've got through a few dust sheets. The oil and tar, it's this tar stuff that's just been thick with it. I mean, you can see here, it's the whole thing has been pretty ugly, which is not very nice, but this was absolutely thick with it. So that's been cleaned off, cleaned down with brake cleaner. I've now got a steam cleaner, so I'm going to use some degreaser and steam clean it, and then I've got some alcohol rub. I'm going to rub it down, and then I'm going to use some ACF 50 to coat it with, and I've just used that to coat the handbrake mechanism. So that's now going to sort of dry off, but that will give the whole suspension system a nice protective coat to help stop it from corroding. So moving down to here, started cleaning off the calipers. I'm going to hit those with my steamer tomorrow, give them a really good clean up, and I'm going to paint those black. There's the old pads. So I've got a new load of pads for that, which is great. All the nylock washers, I've got new nylock washers for every single part of the suspension. These are all the bolts for the cage that holds that differential. I've cleaned all those up with brake fluid because brake cleaner, because they were just thick with black. Cleaned up all the spacers and what have you, and I've got new replacement rubbers to go in there as well when I put the thing back together. So that is it. I'm going to clean the drive shafts to come off. I've given them, I've basically got rid of all the really nastiness in there. Then I'm going to hit all this lot with a steam cleaner tomorrow, both sides, so they're going to be nice and clean. And I'm going to use my grease gun and grease all of the grease nipples on the whole of the suspension. Gave those a bit of a clean up, so they're just drying. I've just degreased them and jet washed them basically. So I'm just going to check them over tomorrow when they're dry. So the cage was absolutely awful before. So first stage was scraping all the thick sludge off. Second stage was wiping as much of the sludge off as I can using brake cleaner. Third stage was degreaser and my steam cleaner, which did an amazing job, to be fair, and I'm so glad I got it. Third stage was an alcohol rub, and then smooth right or hammer right smooth to make them look nice, and the same with the radius arms, and that is the bottom, that basically bolts to the bottom and the differential sits on that. So that is all going to look a lot nicer. And then before I put it all together, I'm gonna coat the whole thing in anti-rust as well, because I would quite like it to last a long time. Now these radius arms. I've got some new bushes for the smaller bushes. You've got two big donuts and two smaller donuts here. I actually bought some donuts for this a couple of years ago and gave it to a classic car specialist, and paid them to replace both the donuts. But I can see, although they've replaced the big ones, these were a bit harder to get at, and even though I supplied the parts, they didn't replace them. So I'm not going to name and shame who that was, but it's a bit upsetting, to be honest. But I've now got to replace those as well, but presumably they've kept the new parts that I gave them, which is more than disappointing. So I'm sure I'll have to take that up with them at some stage. Yes, so it's a bit of progress. So I'm hoping for the rest of the suspension to look like that tomorrow, and then it's going to be a question of put that on the bench next to that one, clean the carrier, put it together, take the measurements, put the new discs on, take the measurements to make sure all the geometry is going to be correct, and then start building it back up again. So there we go. Exciting. Thanks for watching.